Hello, I'm Whalley, welcome to Lenscraft. Today we're going to be looking at Nik Sharpener Pro and we'll be discussing how to achieve the best results when sharpening your images. Let's start by taking a closer look at the image we're going to be sharpening. This is a RAW file converted in Lightroom. As part of the conversion, I turned off the capture sharpening. This was partly to highlight the effect of Nik Sharpener Pro, but also for another reason we'll cover in a moment. If we zoom into the image to 200% magnification in Photoshop, you'll see that the image is a little bit blurry. That's because the digital camera I used to capture applied what we call anti-aliasing to the image. We need to correct this by applying what we call capture sharpening. Before we get into how to do this, we should probably talk a little bit about the stages of sharpening. Now, Nik Sharpener Pro follows a 3-stage sharpening process. The first stage is capture sharpening to remove the softening effect of digital capture. You apply this using Nik RAW Presharpener. Next comes the creative sharpening, where you selectively sharpen areas of the image to emphasize them. You can also apply selective softening or blurring to other areas. We use the Nik Output Sharpener to apply creative sharpening. And finally, we also apply output sharpening. Now, this sharpens the image to compensate for the softening you get when you're printing, or to make the image appear at its best when viewed on a monitor. You can also apply output sharpening with the Nik Output Sharpener. Today, we're looking at capture sharpening using the Nik RAW Presharpener. Earlier, I said that I'd turned off sharpening in Lightroom. If you're going to be using the Nik RAW Presharpener, you should do the same. You don't want to apply 2 rounds of capture sharpening, or you could start to emphasize noise in the image. The RAW Presharpener interface is quite simple. You have 2 sliders controlling most of the work. You can think of the adaptive sharpening as controlling the strength of the sharpening. The more you increase this, the more obvious the effect becomes. The other slider allows you to concentrate the sharpening effect onto edges or over larger areas. By using the 2 sliders together, you can control where the sharpening is being applied and at what strength. You should also remember that you're applying the sharpening evenly across the entire image. When you're applying the sharpening, there are a couple of problems to watch out for. If you place the emphasis on sharpening the edges, you can create halos that start to become apparent around lighter edges. You can see this happening in the boathouse here. If you move the emphasis to sharpening areas, you can emphasize noise in the image. You can see an example of this in the sky. Notice also that as you move the emphasis from sharpening areas to edge sharpening, you reduce the noise problem. The same is also true if you move from sharpening edges to area sharpening. By doing this, you minimize any halos you were seeing. You need to find the right balance between the edges and the areas for sharpening, and you need to do that for the type of image you're sharpening. Each image is different. Also remember that in capture sharpening, we aren't trying to create a bitingly sharp image. All we want to do is correct the softening effect of digital capture. In this example, I'm favouring the area sharpening to avoid causing obvious sharpening halos. This, though, is causing noise to become obvious in areas like the clear blue sky. Now we can avoid this by adding negative control points to select the sky and remove the sharpening from that area. Now when you're applying control points in Nik RAW Presharpener, it's best to switch the mode from sharpened image to effect mask. Here, the white areas show you where the sharpening is being applied to the image, and where you see black, there isn't any sharpening. Here, I'm duplicating the control points by holding down my command key and clicking the control point. As I drag it to the new position, the control point's duplicated. If we now inspect the image at 100% magnification, the sky appears clear. But if we check the reflections in the water, we can still see a lot of problem noise. If we try to select these areas with control points, we end up affecting other areas where we want to apply sharpening. The easy solution to the problem is to select the high ISO option. What this does is increase the threshold at which the software recognises fine detail. This means it's still sharpening the most obvious elements of the scene, but it avoids sharpening very fine details which are possibly noise. You can check this by turning off the preview. Notice though, you can still see the effect of sharpening on the trees and pebbles. If we were to switch to the normal sharpening, you can see it has very little effect on the sharpening of the trees. If we switch to normal, it has almost no effect on the sharpening, but it causes the noise to become emphasised again. When we come to look at the output sharpener in the next video, you'll be able to maximise the detail sharpening. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you found it helpful, please share it with others. I'm Whalley, you've been watching Lenscraft. I'll see you next time for another video when we'll look at the output sharpener.